right, this is going to be super cool because we're totally international on this Leaders Who Care series. So, Humnah, Tabeer, and Sayeda, welcome to the Leaders Who Care series. I am thrilled to have you join us.
We are very glad to join too. It's lovely to meet you again, Mark.
How about Tabeer and Sayeda? Want to say a quick hi?
Hi, thank you so much for having us, and we are just looking forward to the conversation.
And Sayeda?
Hi, everyone, and really nice to meet you again, Mark. So I hope we can have a good conversation.
I promise we will. You don't have to hope. I promise we will. So let's do this. What I'd love you to do is briefly introduce yourself. Not what you do and everything right now, but like where are you now? Where are you from originally? Family, if you feel comfortable talking about that. Maybe something you've never told anybody and you want to reveal it to the world now. How cool would that be? To do that. But tell us a little bit about yourself. And how about if we go in alphabetical order by the first name? So, Humnah, tell us your whole name and all about you.
Okay, I would really prefer if somebody else could go before me because there is a call to prayer going on, so that might like interfere with my voice a little bit. So maybe if Tabeer could take the lead on this one, I'll take the lead on next one. That would be great.
Awesome. All right, Tabeer, you were given the baton. You're on.
Yes, perfect. So as I'm Tabi, but I come from Pakistan, and right now I'm based in Sweden. So let's a little bit talk about family. So I am married here. I think I do have a small kid. He's about to be 6, going to be 6. So I also have the role of mother. So that might add maybe I weightage to my profile here.
No.
And then I did like spent all my life in Pakistan. I do have one sister, so we are just like a very small family I come from. And then I just came to Sweden for my master's. And so it was all like I've been, I think since I was born, I'm always working. I never took a break in between. Like I just got married and still I was working. And then I came here, I did my master's, and again I'm working. So that is little bit casually about myself. And I am a little shy kind of person, not very much social. So that is something that I need everyone to know. So I lack some of the social qualities maybe when it comes to about expressing myself, talking, and these kind of things. So that is a sort of thing. But if I compare with with me as a teenager and now, so there is a lot of difference. So I have improved a lot. So I hope with all the work that I'm doing right now, I will improve. I think next year with the next podcast with you, I'll be much better person.
Well, I think it sounds like you're a much better person already. So thank you for sharing all that and thanks for having the courage, to come out of the shyness, because that's cool too. And there's books that have been written on and we judge people sometimes because they're shy, that they're not this or not that. And but that's a conversation of why we shouldn't judge people so quickly. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. And Sayeda, tell us about you.
Uh, so I'm Sayeda Rahimi from Bamyan province of Afghanistan. So currently I live in Kabul and I grown up in Kabul. So after finishing my high school, in 2016, I went to Pakistan to study my bachelor's degree, and I finished, BS International Relations from Qaid Azam University, Islamabad in 2020. And then I returned to Afghanistan. I started working with some organizations, but then the Taliban took over Afghanistan, and I lost everything, like my job, my hope, everything. And 1 or 2 months after the takeover, I could find another job, and I started working as a researcher. So since then, I'm working as a researcher. Uh, with a well-known organization in Afghanistan. And I also started working with Savi in December
Okay,
2023.
let me interrupt you for a
So
second. Let me interrupt you for a second, if I may. Do you have any brothers and sisters? Do you have any? Tell us a little
yeah,
bit about what you feel comfortable about your family.
I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
Wow.
All my brothers and sisters are educated, and two of them, two of my, 3 of my brothers are outside Afghanistan, and one of my sister is also outside Afghanistan in Kazakhstan. She's studying MBBS. So it's almost 7 to 8 years that we have not been together. Like one is coming, the other is going. So like we are spreading to different countries. So my I'm living with my mom and father, and I also have a very naughty cat. So his name is Milo, and he's disturbing me now. So it's
Well, we,
it's
we,
you
we, we
know
saw we saw him for a minute there. We have no problem welcoming dogs and cats and kids and everything on the podcast, because I think one thing we learned from COVID is we can actually have serious conversations and not take ourselves so seriously at the same time. So anytime he wants to join, or she, whatever the cat is, more than welcome to come on. So thank you for sharing that. And now Humna.
Okay, well, I will really try to make it short, but it will probably be not short at all. So about me, as a kid, I would say I was a very introverted kid. I was always in the libraries at school. Whenever there was a free period or whenever there was time to spare, I would be found in the library, to the extent that I got so cozy and so familiar with the librarian that she would just like leave me alone, and she would like suggest me books because she knew that I was always there and the kinds of books that I was reading there. So she would suggest me books, and we actually formed a very nice, good bond that lasted for years, even after I left the school. So yeah, I was that kind of kid. But also, I think with among my siblings and everyone in my family, I was still very social because everyone else is even more introverted. So yeah, I did have friends, and I was a very reading and watching movies and playing. I was into sports too, as we discussed before too. Like I was into cricket and I was into badminton, and we would play a lot of that. And it felt really nice when I was able to talk about cricket with you. So it was really nice. But yeah, so as a kid, I was like that, very reading, such a nerd, I would say. Then I grew up, and then I got into this field of climate change and stuff. So that's also another story how I got into the field. So in 2015, there was the worst heat wave in Karachi, which is my hometown, which is where I live. I have lived most of my life there. So there was this worst heat wave in 2015 in Karachi that killed like 1,200 people in just 9 days, and that was, I think, the turning point. At that time, I was studying psychology and behavior science at the university, but that just shifted something in me because as a kid, as I told you, I was a nerd and I was a reader. So being a reader, I was very sensitive to my environment, to my people around me, and to everything that's happening around me. So I would perceive things in a very different manner. And I had always seen my city as a city, like no matter how hot the day was, when the evening would come, there would be a very nice cool breeze around, and it would be so nice. Everyone would go out and for tea and just sit outside in the good environment. And people from literally everywhere in Pakistan would say the same thing, that Karachi used to be a city that would like, no matter how hot the day was, evenings were always cooler. But then that heat wave came and everything changed, and I started noticing how bad it was getting with time. In just 10 years, that city had like the weather of the city had completely changed. So that really motivated me and kind of like drove me towards this field. And then later that year in 2015, Paris Agreement proposed at COP21
Okay, I'm
in
going to pause
Paris.
you. I'm going to pause you for a second because we're going to talk about that in a
No
minute.
problem. No problem.
Why do people do this to me all the time? What about your family? Do you have brothers, sisters? Are you married, not married?
No, I'm not married at all. No, I'm nowhere even near getting married. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people need to have someone in their life, right, to get married and to like start thinking of that sort of stuff. But I don't have that going on with me right now. I don't have kids. I'm not married. I don't have any man in my life, thankfully, or not thankfully, maybe. But yeah, I do have some siblings. I'm the eldest one among the four of us. I have two sisters and a brother. And I would say, even though I'm the eldest, I'm not very responsible, as
Well,
most elder
at least
people.
you're honest. You're honest about it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really am, as brutally honest as I can be about literally everything. Honest, straightforward, and completely upfront.
Well, that's cool. We'll keep you to that during this whole podcast. How
Thank
did
you.
how did you all find that your younger years and your education, how did it influence your passion, your focus, and your interest in what you're doing, and your interest getting into the South Asia young women in water? I mean, not everybody would say, "Hey, I want to be involved with water," type of thing. In a way, or a lot of things, but how do you find? Because I find there's a lot of times a thread, and you all have talked about a little bit about what you've done as a kid, who you were as a kid. May not be a straight line, but somehow it keeps coming back. What your passion was. So, how did your younger years and your education influence you to get to, this organization and do what you do? And why don't we continue with Humnah, and we'll go back the other way.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I can continue because I was already in
You
the
were
middle
going
of
there.
my
Yeah, you
story.
did good.
Exactly. So, how water relates to everything in my life. So, as someone from a very young age, I was into water because I live near the water. Like my home, Karachi is right down below at the sea. So I live literally half an hour away from the water. So water is something very important to me. And I think I cannot really live without it. I need a water body somewhere around me to feel comfortable and to feel, I think, happy also. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So water was somewhere there in my life already, even before Sevi existed, or even before Sevi wasn't even an idea. There was no mention of Sevi. So water existed in my life and had a meaning in my life even before that. Then I went to Paris to do my master's, and for that master's, I did an internship in Stockholm, beautiful city, regarding nature, regarding water, things that I really need in my life to survive. So it was really good working in Stockholm, and there was a Stockholm World Water Week that I attended that year when I was in Stockholm in 2023, and that is, I think, was the turning point in my life. Everything changed after it. It was what made me realize how important it is to work for things that actually truly matter to you, to your soul, that like actually do something for your soul, not just in monetary terms, not just in, money wise, not just uh, things that,
Sure.
sustain you like physically only, but it did something to my soul, to my heart. So that was because I was working before when I was in Pakistan also, right? But it was just work. But when I was working in Stockholm and I was working for something that truly mattered to me, and it made me realize how important that is to, actually feel happy in life, actually feel content in life, actually,
And
be able
and you
to
know
do
what?
something.
And you know what? I'm really good at interrupting, by the way, you'll notice. And
No problem at all.
there's something that came out of all the research about blue zones. Are you all familiar with blue zones? That the number one thing that makes people the happiest and live longer, the number one thing that fills people's hearts and souls is belonging. And whether it's to a group or whatnot, or to a common passion and cause. So, I get what you're saying. And Tabeer, how about you? How did this all happen for you?
Yeah, for me, actually, I belong to a village like my father. So we were into agriculture since the very beginning. And when I picked economics and then when I started working back in Pakistan, so all I did was the water in the agriculture sector, like the sustainable water management when it comes to agriculture. Then I got the opportunity to work in a center for water informatics. Again, it was water and how we can reduce the water consumption when it comes about the nature-based solutions, and we have to like food secure the country, the globally everywhere, but we have to reduce the scarce water, which is already scarce, so we have to reduce the water consumption. So that's where it entered into my life, and I had like 4 or 5 years of experience in water. I mean, I would not say that since childhood I had a dream of water. So eventually it started building for me. It started building that I started to learn, and then I saw like, okay, it is going. I mean, water is like it's not going to be the same after a few years. So eventually I just started to be like more involved in the agriculture sector and then the water, and then I chose to come here to Swedish University of Agriculture Sciences for my master's. Again, it was agricultural sciences and then masters and economics and water. And top of my mind, I always had the dream of going to the World Water Week that happens in Stockholm every year. So I took the chance there. So that was, I think, the turning point where we had such a like a deep conversation that we should all, if we are serving in the water sector, so why not we serve in a way that is much more needed right now, especially when it comes to the South Asian region. So eventually I got involved in water, and now all I see is water around me. Like I even uh, corrects my husband and my son, like if they are overusing water, like that happens every time now at home. If they are like doing dishes or doing something, so they are wasting water. So that clicks now. So
That's really,
eventually it's up.
so you don't do an electric shock when they're using too much water, do you?
Hazers.
No, no, no. I just
I'm pretty close to the water too, the Pacific, right down here, and it's for your mental health and everything else. It's quite incredible, and um, I should actually introduce you all. We'll come to Sayeda in a minute.
Mhm.
To an organization in the Middle East called Eco Peace Middle East, and it's the Jordanians, the Palestinians, and the Israelis all doing water management together to make sure all people get access to water and clean water and whatnot. And it's actually worked. It might not sound like it right now, but it's actually worked for peace to agree
Mhm.
to, because when you're economically working together for something like that, you forget about fighting with each other, as well. So could be a good introduction to you. Saida, how did you get into water? By the way, in Canada, our favorite water is the frozen one that we can play hockey on, ice hockey. That's our favorite water.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. I can see Canadian hockey.
no, that's right there. So, Saida, what about you?
Uh, so, as I also belong to, a province in Afghanistan where, people are relying on agriculture and livestock. So, my province is Bamiyan. So, Bamiyan's potato and yogurt are very famous in Afghanistan. So, during my childhood, whenever I was traveling to Bamyan and staying there for a week with my parents, so I was observing that people are suffering a lot due to lack of water management, and they had to bring water from a very far areas from these streams and rivers. So they were even drinking those waters. They were not those water were not uh, clean, but they were drinking that, and we had to also drink that because we were guests. So yeah, also this is one of the issue which is very prominent in Afghanistan. People are getting sick. And the other issue is that when I was in Pakistan, I went and I studied there, and I learned a lot there about many issues like climate change, like water issue. And then when I returned to Afghanistan in 2020, I observed like people are suffering a lot due to drought and also lack of water. Even my family, my parents, especially my mother, she was, she has a problem in her knee, and she's having a lot of pain. So, but she had to, get water from our well, which is 70-meter deep. So, she had to go again and again to downstairs after each 3 hours to get water. So this was very much disturbing me. And also, uh, my neighbors, I was observing, I was seeing them every day, that women and children are having their barrels in their hands, and they are going and asking for water. And if they were getting water from their neighbors and their and mosques, it was good. Otherwise, they were, completely out of water, and they didn't have much money to pay it, and still it's the problem in my area. uh, Before the government change, it was a little bit better, but now the situation has changed, and people are suffering a lot. So these things, made me think about, joining Sevi, and also, to do something in this sector in Afghanistan. So when I talked with the team, and they proposed that they want me to lead their Afghanistan chapter, so it was a very, should I say, happy moment for me, because I could get a chance to get involved in this sector. So this is how, I started working, or I wanted to work in this sector, and Sevi opened a way for me.
No, that's great. Your cat probably likes water too, I would assume, right? Your cat. Um, can you and I'll just open it up for whoever wants to start first. You clearly are leaders who care by necessity and by choice. I would think. And can you share any experiences that stand out for you, accomplishments that you've had, how like what the organization looks like, and are there other people that are also doing amazing things? Just share a little bit about, what you want the impact to be, and what examples of accomplishments that really stand out for you that you've had so far. And anybody that wants to start.
Okay. If anybody wants to go, they can go, or I can take the lead. It's okay.
You just did, so go.
Okay, perfect. So, any accomplishments, or anybody who is doing so? The idea of Savi, how Savi came to be, was at World Water Week in 2023, where we all met. Apart from Sayeda, it was Meghna, me, Tabeer, and another one of our co-founders who leads now the Bangladesh chapter of Savi, Monisha. So there were these four of us who met there and had amazing conversations, and it was a gap that we realized was there, that existed there, even at such a global level, at such a global platform, and such a global conference. We noticed that the South Asian collaboration, the South Asian representation on the global stage, it it does not really exist in the manner that it should. So when people talk about the South, the global South, mostly what they talk about is Africa. Most people, most investors, most organizations in the global North, they're all very invested and very interested in Africa. But very few people actually acknowledge that there is also in the South, South Asia and South America. And we also have problems that are maybe not on the same level, maybe not on the same scale as Africa, but we do have problems that exist in our regions that we want to highlight, that we want to, put there on the global stage, so that people acknowledge those problems, people do something about those problems, right? Because see, Pakistan, I would talk about Pakistan because I am from Pakistan. So Pakistan is one of the countries that really contributes 0.9% to the global greenhouse gas emissions. And it still is one of the top 5 countries getting affected by climate change. there is no adaptation to the changing climate going on in my country. There is least amount of mitigation happening in my country. I mean, what do we mitigate when we only contribute to 0.9% of GHG emissions, right? But still, like, I want these problems to be put out there on the global stage. And so all of us, we noticed this thing. There was this seminar or a session going on, and they were talking about South Asia, but everybody on the panel was white. Everybody in the audience was white, and they were talking about my region, my countries, where I come from, where I belong. And it's not that there aren't many professionals from my region. It's not that they are not ready to speak, but the problems that we face on a global stage, financial problems or societal problems, norms, these kind of norms that make, that hinder the growth for girls, especially women in my region. So we want to talk about this stuff. We want to represent our people, but there are just very less opportunities for us to do something of that sort. So we were very embraced with this. Really, I would use the word embraced because we were very embraced about this. And so we were like, okay, well, why are we waiting for someone else to do something for us? Why don't we do something about it? And so, as you mentioned, it is not just out of necessity, but it is also out of care. We do care about it deeply. It is deeply ingrained in our hearts and souls. So that's how Savvy was formed. And that's how we just got together and we were like, okay, let's not wait around for somebody to, come save us. Let's save ourselves. And so Savvy was formed with that intention. And our main goal, basically, it's a long-term goal. Of course, it's not possible in a short time period. But what we hope to achieve with Savvy is that, as you talked about peace, right? So water is something that exists as a transboundary. It's what water is transboundary in nature in our region. And South Asia is maybe lucky, but also kind of very, I would say, unlucky in a sense that we don't just share cultures and languages and traditions and history and religions and all of these things, but still we are always fighting. I don't understand why. See, with the European Union was able to achieve something amazing, that every country has different language, different culture, different everything, and still they are able to come to the same platform and be together for mutual benefit and mutual growth, right? But South Asia as a region, we have same language, same culture, same traditions, same history, same religions and whatnot, and still we are not able to come together for mutual benefit and mutual growth. So that is our ultimate goal, to bring the whole region together and make everybody realize that peace it only comes from, being together. It does not come from weapons. It does not come from having a large army at the border. It comes from coming together and for mutual benefit and for mutual growth and for mutual development. So see, rivers don't have boundaries. We created those boundaries for ourselves. The rivers flow as they want and where they want. So that is the goal of Savvy. That's what we want to achieve.
Got it. No, that's I appreciate you sharing that. And economic development or sharing of water and whatnot does bring peace. And I say this in total seriousness. I do think it's women and girls that are going to make that happen. For all sorts of reasons. There's a reason that there's men and women. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and I think women are gonna do that. Tabeer, can you add to that, or can you share maybe some experiences or accomplishments that you think stand out in what you all are doing?
Yeah, of course. I echo every single word that Humnah has already mentioned about the goals of the Savvy. But as you said, like the leaders by choice or by necessity, so I would say like both. It is like I have in collectively like 7 to 8 years of research experience, like working as a research assistant. So I have already seen like the projects, they come in, we work on the projects, we do collect data, and then all comes out are the research papers and the reports. So then it came out as like we need it is necessary to be a leader where you can actually have impact on the communities and be part of them. I mean, there is nothing bad having publications, reports out of it, but not only those. So that is my own experience that comes from like all these years that we wanted to do something together. like we with all our resources, pooling all our resources and knowledge together, where we can have a lasting impact. So then it becomes by choice. Now we are going to lead this in our own respective countries, on or maybe on the regional level, where we can have like a impact on the communities. And up till now our journey is little short, like it's just been a year and a half we started. Now we are almost reaching to the ground level, but for now we are just doing some seminars and this kind of stuff, where we are getting ourselves involved with like the students, like the youth and the people whom we can have an impact on. But the main goal and to serve as a leader is on the ground level, where we can get involved with the communities and have a real impact on their lives. I think that's what we want to achieve as leaders, if we call ourselves leaders of saving. So that's what we want to do. We will have reports out of it, but also the real impact that we can showcase. Yeah.
No, I
So
love
that's,
that. You can
yeah.
call yourselves leaders who care. That would be a good name to call yourselves, leaders who care. Um, Sayeda, can you share with us a little bit of that too, and maybe in terms of why partnerships and collaboration between, women, young women in different countries, kind of like Humnah was referring to a little bit, how partnerships, collaboration, um, are making a difference for you, and how other young women, all ages, can be involved with what you're doing.
Regarding this question, I want to, point out to our own platform, Sevi. We are we are we are from different countries, and I'm really sorry. My cat is just want to attack me. So if something
The
happened,
cat's
so
attacking you, okay?
forgive me.
Don't turn off the video so we have proof.
Yes,
Um,
we want to see it all
exactly.
happening in
So
real time.
Exactly.
So it's exactly in front of me and want to attack me. So I just wanted to give you an example of how women can, or how people can collaborate uh, in South Asia, in our region. We are from different countries in at Sevi, and so far we have been very successful in what we are doing. Uh, people who are people who are from Pakistan or India, they are working in on projects on Afghanistan, and they know about Afghanistan, and it's the same with me. I can work, and I can understand issues and things related to India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh or other regions now. So uh, we are collaborating in individual level at our own platform, and this we want to expand this to other other people who want to work in this sector. Like we already have some agencies who are active in other continents, like in Europe, in America, or even Australia. We have people from Afghanistan, India, and Pakistan who are working with them, and they have their own projects for this region. So by connecting with them, and by speaking with them, and by having meeting with them, we are trying to bring them together and create an opportunity. All can share our experiences, our ideas, opinions, so we can make a peaceful way and meaningful way to address water related issues and challenges in South Asia. For
Mhm.
example, in Afghanistan currently, our countries is under sanction, and many of our refugees are living in countries like Iran, and also in Pakistan we have more than 2 million refugees. So, uh, you know, they are providing services for people from Afghanistan, and our water is also, used by Pakistan and also Afghan people there. Even Afghans are doing agriculture in Pakistan. So this is, a very peaceful way to collaborate and, you know, in the future also we can use these experiences. For example, our water is going to Pakistan, so we should not make a dispute over it in the future, and we should be very careful about implementation of project and how these projects are assessed or evaluated by other countries, especially Pakistan, so it does not create a war between these two countries. So
Yeah.
we also have, other projects inside our country. So a project in Pakistan, or a river inside Afghanistan. If we are building a dam, it should not be harmful to our neighboring countries, especially in South Asia, like Pakistan, or even other regions like Central Asia or Iran.
Yeah, no, I think
So this is how.
yeah, sorry, I think
Yeah.
it's a brilliant point. You can either use water by hoarding it and keeping it for yourself as a disconnect, or the opposite of peace, or you can share it, and chances are the other people you share it with maybe have a resource that you need as well, and you go back and forth. It's not really rocket science. It
Yeah.
actually makes a lot of sense. It's such a great topic of importance, because they're talking now like water is the next oil, if you will, is another expression, and how much we need water. My parents would be flabbergasted by how much that even people buying water, in stores and whatnot. You never
Yeah.
thought of that as a kid, that you'd have to do that. But I have and I hope we can continue. Well, in Los Angeles, one thing we say in Los Angeles is that we want to keep the people wanting more, so you can do a sequel as a movie. So we
Yeah.
might have to do a sequel on this in one way or another. But I do have one last question in this part I want to ask you all. In 2021, a client told me he said the year 2020, which was the year of the pandemic, basically, was the year that flew by slowly. And it was really an interesting comment he said to me. And now we're already in 2025. It feels like COVID was yesterday and years ago, all at the same time. But with all that, can you each share briefly what you're most grateful for, and also what you're most hopeful for? Why don't we start with Tabeer this time?
Oh, it's a hard question.
No, it's
I
not.
I've been going through so much in 2025. Like, maybe I should mention that I just owned a small restaurant in Sweden, so I'm running that apart from like the water thing. So I did achieve, but I think I'm overdoing this year. So I am going to expect something big out of it now, because I did like, okay, I was doing okay all these years. It is just like flying by, and have like good achievements. Like Savvy is one of them. Like, to having something that you own and you feel privileged to be part of such an organization, such a small group that is there to make some difference. But this year started with such a big difference that now I have a whole restaurant to take care of, and it takes like all my day. Today I just my restaurant is like closed for today because I had to be supposed to be here. So otherwise I was not able to be here. Someone would be coming and I would be serving there or some things, because I'm actively involved in it. So do have like big expectations from this, because now I'm giving my 100%, like more than 100%. I'm working maybe 250% these days. So that's what I can say. And I also look forward to have like big achievements, because we are planning some projects on the ground level, and we look forward to have like a impact on the ground level, and to get involved with the communities, being a little bit away from the country, but still we have the access and we are doing our best to do. So I think by the end of 2025 we'll have so many achievements to share, I think.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for sharing that. So how about if we go to the cat lady now? What are you most grateful for, and what are you most hopeful for, Sayeda?
Uh, I'm grateful for what I have done so far for my country, especially in this sector. I feel like there was a necessity for for especially for women in Afghanistan to take part in this sector, to come to this sector, and to become water women. My field is not water, but water is not does not need a field, that you should study. You Even if I can advocate for water and water related issues, that's enough for me. And in 2024, I could do this. I could, get connected to other women in Afghanistan, and I could, know them and analyze how they are involved. And the other thing is that for 2025 and then, other next years, I'm hopeful we have more women in this sector, and I can, build a big network of Afghan women from, different agencies who come together and work together.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And now to the Northern Lights lady. What are you most grateful for? What are you most hopeful for?
I think what I'm really grateful for this year is my mother's health. So she went through a very big scare last year. She was diagnosed with cancer last year, and we had a very bad scare with that. And it really changed all my perspective. Like before, maybe I was very down to settling outside of Pakistan, but now I think my priorities change a little bit because of this, and I want to spend more time with her as much as I can. So yeah, I'm really grateful for her in my life. I'm really grateful for my family in my life, for my friends, everyone, for Savi really. Because 2024 was a year of very big things, very big bad things happening in my life. And Sevi was the only good thing that was happening, as I shared with Tabeer and Meghna a lot of times, that Sevi is the only good thing happening in my life this year, to be very honest. So I'm really grateful that Sevi really sustained me throughout the year. It was one thing that just kept me going with everything going on. So I'm really grateful for Savi, and what I'm really hopeful for this year is that we get Savi to achieve great things and everything that we have planned for this year to take Savi to grassroots levels in South Asian region. We have a lot of projects going on currently, and a lot of the projects in the pipeline also that we want to achieve with Savi. So that's what I'm really hopeful that we will achieve. There are other some personal things happening in my life currently, some personal project that I've taken up that I really hope to achieve this year. So yeah, overall, I'm really grateful that to live, to be able to survive 2020 and everything that has been happening since then, because I think in some way, 2020 really changed all of us, and what started in 2020 never stopped. We never got a chance to recover from it. We never got a chance to heal from it. It's just, it set a domino effect that still is going on. So I'm just grateful that I get to live every day, and I get to see the people that I love every day, and the people that I care for every day. So yeah.
So we're gonna have to see each other every day now. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Um,
exactly. I'm really looking forward to the sequel, actually.
no, that's okay. We can make something happen. Hey, I'm super grateful for new friends, which is what I feel I have here, which is awesome. And I'm super grateful that you all are, each of you and together, leaders who care for real. So I am super grateful for that and appreciate that. And I think I'm hopeful for the same reason that it's going to be, really, really good people like yourself that are making an impact out there. And what happens is you make an impact with some people and they take it and pay it forward and so on and so on. And then, and that's
Sure, that
how,
chain reaction.
yep. And that's how even peace can happen, among us. So we'll have to do a sequel. Thank you all, young ladies, for participating in the Leaders Who Care series. And we'll be talking often.
We will, yes. And do send me pictures of the water, the big water thing that you have outside your window. I will be looking forward
It's
to
called
that, to
the
those
Pacific.
pictures.
It's called the Pacific Ocean. That's what it is. I'll take a picture and send it. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
I'll be waiting for that.
You got it. Thank you so much, Humnah, Tabeer, Sayeda. We really appreciate you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it
so
was
much.
lovely. It was lovely
Thank
meeting you,
you.
Mark. It's always lovely talking with you. So yes, I look forward to talking more.
Me too.